get a business model that they buy business and they've got their quality of life, they've got their financial goals, if it's high five, low six figure, if they're moderate to strong performer income, then if it costs them $8,000 or $10,000 more a year for the period that they're carrying the debt until they pay it down, is that still a good experience? I would argue most times it is.
That's franchise consultant Gary Prenovo, the president of FramNet. Franchise Canada show is running all weekend at the International Center. At the City News Business Center, I'm Micah.
Whenever you've needed us, federal public service workers have been here for Canada. We delivered the services you rely on through this crisis and the next. But for nearly 2 years, we've been on the front lines without a contract. That's a big problem, because while the government stalls on making things right, we all pay the price. Workers can't wait. None of us can. Learn more at workerscan'twait.ca. A message from the Public Service Alliance of Canada.
Get a fresh start today at TSC with amazing savings on top brands and products. Save up to 20% on beauty with brands you love like Clinique and L'Occitane. And shop great offers on healthcare from Apple and more now until February 14th. Turn big purchases into small payments with interest-free easy pay on everything you need to reach your goals. Shop now at tsc.ca. Today's shopping choice.
Traffic is always changing.
Now, more than ever,
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
this is City News 680 everywhere.
Right now in Brenton, -5, partly cloudy, feels like -12. Downtown Toronto, some clouds in the sky, -4, feels like -13. And at Pearson, partly cloudy, -5, feels like -12. The News Watch never stops. Watch, listen, connect at citynews.ca. City News 680 is CFTR AM Toronto. Enrique Amaturo was your editor this afternoon. I'm Kate Lee on behalf of myself and Zach Bodenstein. Have a great evening. City News Time, 6 o'clock.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is City News 680 everywhere.
Good evening. It's Saturday, February 4th. I'm Sophia Vavarutsos.
And I'm Mike Davey. Here's what's making news this hour.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's going on? What's the procedure?
It's happening. Toronto is set to host the next NHL All-Star Showdown for the first time in almost 25 years.
Metrolinx and the Law Society of Ontario are eagerly awaiting the results of an injunction hearing, one which could save 200-year-old trees at Osgood Hall from being cut down. Breaking news in Durham. 2 people have been found dead by police in Bowmanville, launching an investigation.
And in the United States, authorities have downed a suspected spy balloon and are examining the remnants of the aircraft from China.
The NHL All-Stars skating in the FLA, but they'll be in the 416 next year. And Romano won't join the Italian team for the World Baseball Classic Sports in 15.
And coming up in business, the mess at Canada's passport offices is being named as the best of the worst example of red tape last year.
City News Time, 6:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Good evening, Colette Desjardins. Okay, we'll check back in with Colette in just a moment. For now, here's the forecast with Alistair Alders.
The temperature rises to 0 overnight tonight. We'll have mainly cloudy skies, and there will be a chance of flurries this evening. And mainly cloudy on Sunday, and a disturbance will be moving in with some rain showers that could mix with a few wet flurries. 4 degrees the high on our Sunday. Temperatures tonight rising to 0.
All right, let's check back in with Colette Desjardins in the traffic center. Colette?
Hi. This report is brought to you by AGM Renovations. We had some problems on the eastbound 401 approaching Keele and the collectors. The right lane was blocked with a stalled vehicle. That's just cleared as I look at the cameras. If you're on the westbound 409 approaching the 427, we've got a crash in the left lane. The backup from approaching Highway 27. On the westbound 401, it was busy through Kennedy and the collectors. If you're heading southbound on the 404 Don Valley Parkway, delays south of Finch down to south of Lawrence and through Don Mills. Westbound on the Gardner, that's slow now, approaching Bathurst out to Parkside. If you're on the eastbound Gardner, Jarvis Ram. Heading northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, delays north of Don Mills up to approaching York Mills. And if you're traveling right now on the eastbound Lakeshore, it's quite slow from Ontario Drive to Spadina. Southbound 400 looks pretty good right now down to the 401. How about you spend the money? How about spending the money you save staying at home and spend on your home? You can increase your living space. Just finish your basement. Call AGM now and get $5,000 off your new basement. Visit agmrenovations.com. Your next report is at 6:11 with the forecast. Alistair Alders.
Well, temperatures will be on the rise tonight. We'll have mainly cloudy skies and a chance of flurries. That temperature will be near the freezing mark overnight tonight, and then 4 degrees is the high on Sunday. Mainly cloudy skies and a weak disturbance will be moving in, so that means we'll have some late afternoon to evening rain showers. Could mix with a few wet flurries, especially outside of the city. Temperatures tonight rising to 0.
Right now in downtown Toronto, -4, feels like -13, partly cloudy. City News time is 6:04.
For the first time in almost 25 years, Toronto will host the NHL All-Star Game.
City's Mike Leach has more on today's announcement.
The All-Stars are coming to town next year. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman with the announcement prior to this year's event down in Florida. The last time this city hosted a major All-Star weekend was the NBA All-Star Game in 2016. That was a massive success with one of the best dunk contests ever. Leafs Mitch Marner expects this to be next level.
Getting all the best players in the world at the same place at one time. Just seeing how the NBA All-Star Game was, I'm sure the NHL one's going to be even bigger, so the fans are going to love it. It's going to be a fun time.
The 2024 NHL Midseason Showcase will be the first played in Toronto since the year 2000, and only the second time in the NHL's expansion era. Mike Leach, City News.
City News time 6:05.
Breaking news from an injunction hearing in the city, which has just wrapped up. The hearing is over trees at Osgoode Hall, which Metrolinx began to clear cut this morning, including one tree in its entirety. City's James Mackin has the latest on this story and the hearing that attempted to save the trees.
Liz Driver, the interim chair of the Build the Ontario Line Differently Community Coalition, tells me that no matter what the result of the injunction hearing is, she hopes that Metrolinx will sit down with members of the community and hear them out.
We could resolve this issue if reasonable people sat down and found the best solution for this landmark intersection of University and Queen.
City Councilor Josh Matlow tells me that while Metrolinx is a provincial agency, the city and Mayor John Tory should be doing more to save these trees.
Even where the mayor may not have legislative powers, he has the power of influence, unlike anybody else in the city, that needs to be used well. And, we're not seeing it.
In a statement, Metrolinx says, following hearing, we look forward to proceeding to get this critical transit line built. James Mackin, City News.
City News time 6:06.
Two people are dead in Durham in what police are calling a sudden death investigation. Officers say they got the call around 2:15 this afternoon near a middle road in William Fair Drive in Bowmanville. There are no details yet on how the people died or if this will be investigated as a homicide.
This is City News 680. Toronto police say they've made an arrest in what is being called a historical child sexual assault and abuse investigation. The alleged incidents happened between 2011 and 2013 when a man sexually assaulted a boy at a home in Toronto. 56-year-old John Moyer is facing multiple charges, including 8 counts of sexual interference and possession of child pornography. Officers say further investigation shows Moyer has had contact with children since 2004. They say there could be unreported crimes and are asking anyone with information to reach out to police.
Marit Stiles has been officially confirmed as the new leader of the Ontario NDP. Speaking at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, Stiles says her focus after being elected leader will be on defeating Premier Doug Ford in the next provincial election.
I made a commitment to you. It was back in September when we launched that campaign. And my commitment to you was that together we could build a bigger, a bolder New Democratic Party here in Ontario, one that can take on the Conservatives and win.
Longtime New Democratic Peter Tabbins had Independent's former leader, Andrea Horvath, announced her resignation on provincial election night last June. Stiles, who has been a New Democrat member of provincial parliament since 2018, was the only person to run for the leadership. She represents the Davenport riding, served for years as the party's education critic, and has previously been a school trustee and president of the federal NDP.
This is City News 680 news from the Carolina coast, where crews are investigating a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that moved over sensitive locations in the United States. The balloon has been taken down by a fighter aircraft.
Shot down. After days of trolling the U.S. skies, Air Force fighter jets delivered a blow to the large Chinese spy balloon off the Carolina coast Saturday. President Biden, after the operation,
successfully took it down, and I want to compliment our aviators who did it.
The surveillance balloon carried a large tech payload the size of 3 buses. ABC News contributor and former State Department official Steve Ganyard.
What they're going to look for is the payload that was attached underneath. We saw at least 16 solar panels that would have been powering the sensors that the U.S. believes was beaming data back to China.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is City News 680. If you've been outside in Toronto over the past 2 days, you know it's been cold. And while we had some sunny breaks today, our weather specialist, Alistair Alders, says it'll be cloudy through the night with some possible flurries again.
We'll have a chance of rain showers or flurries returning later tomorrow. Temperatures, though, also on the rise, will be above freezing by this time tomorrow.
Alistair says we'll hit the freezing mark tonight, but could see temperatures as high as 4 degrees tomorrow. Temperatures are also expected to be seasonal for the rest of the week.
Coming up next, the City News gas price update.
City News time 6:09.
City News is dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture.
Committed to moving forward in the process of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people.
This is City News 680.
Now the City News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will drop 5 cents at midnight to $1.40.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together coming up next. City News time 6:10.
Furnace on the fritz? Get it fixed fast. Enercare Home Services can get your heat going again with repairs done by a pro. And right now, for a limited time, get a furnace repair diagnostic for $0. That's a $99 savings. Getting your furnace fixed fast is good, but saving some money in the process, like $99, now that's a hot deal. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more at enercare.ca. That's enercare.ca.
Only a few days left to live and listen to the magic of an Air France rendezvous. It's time to book your rendezvous with Nice, starting at $840, or Athens, starting at $855 return. From Toronto, tax included. Enjoy a glass of champagne however you fly. Economy included. Elegance is a journey. Air France. Book by February the 7th and travel until June the 18th or from September the 18th to December the 10th, 2023. See conditions at airfrance.ca.
City News time 6:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Colette Desjardins.
Thanks. And this report is brought to you by Sportsnet. If you're traveling on the eastbound 401, we're seeing delays through Kiel and the collectors. Westbound on the 409, approaching the 427. The left lane is blocked with a crash. The backup from west of Highway 27. Now, if you're on the westbound 401, it's quite busy approaching Kennedy to Warden, alternately express and collectors. Southbound on the 404 John Valley Parkway, delays from south of Finch down to south of Lawrence. Picks up, slows down again, approaching Don Mills down to south of Bloor. If you're on the westbound Gardner, we had delays approaching Bathurst out to Parkside. Eastbound Gardner, typical Humber Bridge to approaching the Jarvis ramp. And if you're headed right now on the northbound Don Valley Parkway, that is quite busy north of Don Mills to approaching York Mills. Discover hockey in a fantastical new way. Sportsnet presents Hockeyland, an adventure game in Minecraft. Download it at sportsnet.ca/Hockeyland. Your next report is at 6:21 with the forecast, Alistair Alders.
Well, temperatures temperatures have been climbing all day and will continue to do so tonight. We'll have mainly cloudy skies and some flurries. The temperature rises to 0 overnight tonight and then declines on Sunday with mainly cloudy skies. Do watch out for some late afternoon to evening showers that can mix with a few wet flurries, but it's not significant. And then sunshine returns on Monday. Temperatures still above normal. Tonight temperatures rising to freezing.
In the city right now, it's -4 under partly cloudy sky, feeling like -13. Similar conditions at Pearson Airport, city time 6:13. The city of Toronto is keeping its warming centers open through the weekend. Centers are set up at Scarborough Civic Centre, Metro Hall, and Mitchell Fields Community Centre, and Cecil Community Centre. The city says it's directed programs across Toronto's emergency shelter system to not turn anyone away during the extreme cold. As of last night, downtown warming centers and Mitchell Fields Community Centre were at capacity, but the city says there is space at Scarborough Civic Centre. The city's Streets to Homes program also dispatched additional 24/7 teams to connect with people living outside and encourage them to come indoors. Currently, warming centers open when temperatures drop below -15, prompting advocates to call for the city to review warming center policies and open them sooner. Coming up next, today's top stories and sports. This is City News.
The bonus redemption event is back at Shoppers Drug Mart. So here's a quick PC Optimum hack from a member that could help you save big.
1 second, Galen. Just doing some math. I redeem only 100,000 points and get $140 off beauty products during the event. That's an extra $40 in value.
Now that adds up.
The Shoppers Drug Mart bonus redemption event runs February 3rd to 8th, exclusive to Shoppers Drug Mart. PC Optimum points can be redeemed in-store and online. Restrictions apply. Details in store.
Callum had an idea for a $99 diamond pendant for Valentine's Day.
It's shaped like an @ sign.
When I show it to my wife, I'm going to point to the @ sign and say, this is an @ sign. Then I'm going to put it around her neck and say, and this is where my love is at.
I like it.
Me too.
$99 buys you a silver pendant with a small created diamond.
$249 buys you a white gold pendant with a created diamond twice as big. Spence.
Wow!
Located in Vaughan, Scarborough, and Mississauga. Toronto's news. Now, this is City News 680. Everywhere.
It's -4 right now and partly cloudy in downtown Toronto. Good evening. I'm Sophia Vavarutsos. Here are the top stories this hour. Toronto will host the 2024 NHL All-Star event, bringing it back to the city for the first time in almost 25 years. An injunction hearing into Metrolinx's plan to cut down trees at Osgoode Hall has wrapped up. Now both parties are waiting to hear the results. And breaking news in Durham, 2 people are dead in what police say is a sudden death investigation happening in Bowmanville. And coming up after sports, the federal government has repealed amendments to the controversial Bill C-21, which regulates gun ownership in Canada. Right now, time for sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, and more on our top story. Good evening, Mike Leach.
Yes, good evening, Sophia. The NHL All-Stars will be coming to Toronto next year. Commissioner Gary Bettman making that announcement earlier today. Now, the headline event of this year's All-Star Weekend in Florida, just wrapping up, under a minute to play in the final. It is the Atlantic Division with a 6-3 lead in the 3-on-3 tournament final. Leafs Mitch Marner with 6 points today. None of them goals. He was a setup man. The World Baseball Classic just over a month away now. Sportsnet reporting that Jordan Romano of the Blue Jays won't be joining Team Italy for the tournament. He pitched for the Italians at the event back in 2017. On the tennis court, Canadian Bianca Andreescu forced to retire from the semifinal at the Thailand Open with a shoulder injury. 22-year-old was trailing in the second set against Lesia Serenko from Ukraine. At the FIFA Club World Cup in Morocco, the Seattle Sounders from Major League Soccer losing in the second round 1-0 to Al Ahly of Egypt. The Egyptians moving on to take on Real Madrid in the semifinal. And Canada Soccer naming Stefan Eustáquio of Benfica and Chloe Lacasse as the men's and women's players of the month for January. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
This year, warm up to winter in Ontario. To romantic trips, cozy cabins, warm up to some cool
winter in Ontario. We're warming up to you. Plan it now at destinationontario.com.
Get the hottest deals for the coldest streets, only at Streetswear Kids. Sip up for a better night's sleep on the street with the pavement parka. Step on broken glass with Kevlar kicks. Panhandle in a cashless society with the Tap Me Teddy. Now 20% off. Because the truth is, 20% of Canadians facing homelessness are youth. This winter, wear something that actually makes a difference. Buy a toque at raisingtheroof.org and help end youth homelessness.
This is City News 680. The federal Liberals have walked back controversial amendments to Bill C-21. City's Darcy Ropchan gets reaction from firearm advocates.
As the federal Liberals back away from controversial amendments to firearm legislation, advocates say would unfairly target hunters and illegal owners. Firearm rights groups are saying the entire legislation needs to be scrapped.
Probably half of the firearms in Canada would have been banned as soon as that law would have passed. And then, of course, the language of variance. Basically, the RCMP can ban any gun that they think is related in some way to one that's already prohibited.
That was Rod Giltaca, CEO of Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights. City News Time 619, a Calgary man says he wanted to buy a phone but ended up feeling bullied and harassed just because of his Ukrainian nationality. This comes as several Ukrainian refugees say they still face prejudice in Canada. Hannah Said looks at the details.
For Ukrainian newcomers fleeing the war and resettling in Canada has not been an easy journey. While some get support from government agencies, others look towards the community. Alex Guerin, who left Ukraine for Calgary 9 months ago, says so far the community has been really helpful, but a recent interaction with a phone seller has left him baffled.
He decided to ask me if I'm Ukrainian, but I'm like, yeah, I'm Ukrainian, but for me, it's like it doesn't matter why, when you're just buying a phone, but that gentleman said that it actually matters for him, and he assumed that all Ukrainian people are ill, mentally sick, and all the things like that. That was unexpected to see.
In Calgary, Hannah Said, City News.
Traffic and weather together coming up next. City News Time 620.
It's weird to hear this from an announcer, but if you are a parent and your teen is with you, Drug Free Kids Canada is encouraging you to turn down the volume on your radio and take some time to talk. Go on. Now's the perfect time. Not sure how to start? How to break the ice? Guess what? It's already done. Your teen is there. You're there. That's all it takes. Visit drugfreekidscanada.org to learn how to keep the conversation going. But above all, keep talking.
The polar vortex is coming. We need a new furnace. I'm calling Atlas Care. All our neighbors use Atlas Care, and they're Google guaranteed.
For a limited time, Atlas Care Heating and Air Conditioning is offering last year's pricing. Save up to $3,000 in instant rebates on a new system. Plus, don't pay for 12 months with 0 down and 0% interest. Same day and next day appointments available. Hurry, this limited offer ends February 15th. Google Atlas Care today and let the pros in the green trucks save you big bucks.
City News Time 621. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Colette Desjardins.
Thanks, and this report is brought to you by Don Valley North Toyota. Right now, if you're traveling northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, there's a dog running around in the northbound DVP lanes of around Lakeshore, so be aware of that. Police, of course, are aware of that situation. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, you're going to find delays north of Don Mills up to approaching York Mills. If you're southbound on the 404 DVP, we're seeing delays approaching Shepherd and the Collectors down to the 401 ramps, and then south of Shepherd and the Express down to south of Lawrence. It looks as though we might have a problem south of Bloor. The right lane was blocked. I'm not sure if it's still there. It's hard to see behind these trees. If you can let me know, our free traffic tip line star 680, but the backup is solid from approaching Don Mills. If you're on the westbound Gardner, westbound QEW, that's eased off. I'm not seeing any delays on the eastbound QEW. Eastbound Gardner, that is slow from the Humber Bridge to approaching the Jarvis ramp. If you're on the eastbound Lakeshore, we did have delays from Ontario Drive to Spadina. Right now, if you're on the westbound 409, good news, approaching the 427 problems have cleared. We had a bit of a backup from west of Highway 27. Taking a look right now at the 401 both ways. So eastbound on the 401, it was slow through Kiel and the collectors, also busy from Bayview to Leslie in the collectors. On the westbound 401, we had some volume approaching Kennedy toward it, alternately Express and collectors. Don Valley North Toyota is a state-of-the-art automotive experience. Visit the showroom or go online anytime at DonValleyNorthToyota.com, a division of Wayne's Auto Group. Your next report is at 6:31. With the forecast, here's Alistair Alders.
Well, after a bitter start to the day, temperatures continue to rise and we will be above seasonal as we head into early next week. The temperature rises to the freezing mark overnight tonight. We'll have mainly cloudy skies and do watch out for a chance of flurries this evening. And then tomorrow, mainly cloudy with some late afternoon to evening rain showers that could mix with a few wet flurries. Sunshine returns on Monday, looking like a pretty nice day overall, up to a high of 1 degree, and then some rain in the forecast by Tuesday. Temperatures climb up to 6 degrees. Our temperature this evening climbing to 0.
Right now it's partly cloudy, -4, but feeling like -13. Coming up at 6:30, we'll have the latest on Toronto, set to host the 2024 NHL All-Star Game. City News Time, 6:24.
Hi, Zach here from Speedy Glass. As windshield experts, we know that a small chip can quickly become a big crack. If your windshield is cracked, you need to replace it right away, and now is the best time to do so. For a limited time only, receive $25 gas gift card by replacing your windshield with one of our certified experts. We'll get you back on the road quickly and with an extra $25 in your pockets. Hurry, this offer ends March 3rd. Visit speedyglass.ca to book an appointment at the service center nearest you. Certain conditions apply. Details at speedyglass.ca.
The big story. I'm your host, Jordan Heath Rollins. What if we're looking for aliens in all the wrong places? Listen to The Big Story, podcast.ca, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you need something to do on this Saturday night in the city, you can head to the Smith House for a Black History Month party supporting charity. The party will celebrate Black History Month, food, and culture while supporting the Sickle Cell Anemia Foundation and Sick Kids Hospital. Sickle cell anemia affects Black Canadians, and a portion of proceeds will benefit the Sickle Cell Foundation for research and finding a cure. DJ Dave Campbell and DJ Carl Allen will be bringing you the best of R&B, hip-hop, 90s, and reggae music all night. Doors open at the Smith House on College Street at 9 this evening. Anyone who gets there before 11 won't have to pay a cover, but if you get there afterwards, it's $10 to get in. The Business Report with Chris McCusker up next. This is City News.
When it's time to service your Mercedes-Benz, the team at Mercedes-Benz Newmarket makes it quick, easy, and convenient. Simply schedule an appointment online at mercedes-benzNewmarket.ca and leave the rest to us. Our technicians have years of experience, plus access to the latest diagnostic and repair equipment, so you can rest assured your pride and joy is in capable hands. Mercedes-Benz Newmarket, proud winner of the prestigious 2022 Star Dealer Award. Book your service at mercedes-benzNewmarket.ca.
There's a local place to get healthcare. Shoppers Drug Mart pharmacists can write prescriptions for minor ailments like UTI, allergies, and more. Book an appointment online at shoppersdrugmart.ca/minor illness or visit any store. Prescriptions only available at pharmacist discretion.
Book your New Jersey summer vacation. Go for beaches and boardwalks and entertaining destinations, whether relaxing at the shore or climbing high in the skylands. Create your escape at visitnj.org/booknow.
City News Time, 6:26. Now the Business Report. Here's Chris McCusker.
I'm Chris McCusker. This year's best of the worst example of red tape in Canada, Service Canada, for the mess that was renewing or getting a passport. It was picked by the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, where Benjamin Roos is a policy analyst.
Well, first of all, the big one is every year we analyze every province red tape burden. So we feel like when we bring light to some of the worst examples of regulatory burden, we can have a major impact. And this year, the worst example we got was from Service Canada. And in the last year, Service Canada was all over the news, and not for so good reason. People were standing in line for many hours in the wait of their passport or other personal identity paper. It even forced some to delay their reunion with their family after 2 difficult years.
And you say more than 1 million people had to deal with this?
We commissioned a public opinion poll from Angus Street and found that 1 in 8 Canadians have applied or attempted to renew their passport in the last year. And 80% of them had of the passport applicants experienced some kind of frustration when applying or renewing their passport in the past year. Just to state some examples, the average was 2 hours in line or in phone, while 8% spent more than 6 hours in line or phone. And overall, it took them just over 2 months on average for applicants to receive their new or renewed passport. So this is a great example of not so good example, and we feel like it was a tremendous waste of time for many Canadians.
And it could have been avoided.
They kind of knew it would come, right? Government should work for us and not against us, and when they do fail us, it undermines public trust. And of course it happened, and they do appear to have fixed it. We should give them credit for that, right? As I said, it should have never happened in the first place, and they not only should have seen it coming, it appears they did, and they didn't prepare for it.
Benjamin Roos is with the CFIB. And at the City News Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Looking to make healthier choices in 2023? Start with sleeping well. Because when you sleep well, you do everything else well. The New Year, New You event is on now only at Sleep Country. Get amazing prices on all your sleep essentials. Until Tuesday only, get a queen yard top mattress for only $4.99. Now's the time to wake up to the power of a better night's sleep. Sleep well, stay well. Sleep Country. Hey snowmobilers, did you know 60% of Ontario's snowmobile trails cross private land thanks to the generosity of property owners? That's why riders must respect this land by staying on marked OFSC trails, riding between field stakes, and not entering closed snowmobile trails. With your cooperation, the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs can maintain good landowner relations and keep trails available for you to ride. Learn more at www.ofsc.on.ca. That's ofsc.on.ca.
Right now in downtown Toronto, a partly cloudy sky, -4, feeling like -13. City News Time, 6:30.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is City News 680 everywhere.
Good evening. This is Saturday, February 4th. I'm Mike Davey.
And I'm Sophia Vavaruzos. Here's what's making news this hour.
Good news for hockey fans in the city. The NHL's All-Star Weekend will be headed to Toronto in 2024.
Will they stay or will they go? An injunction hearing is wrapped up, and now we're waiting to hear if historic trees at Osgood Hall will be torn down for a new subway line.
2 people are dead in Bowmanville in what Durham police say is a sudden death investigation.
The NHL All-Star Game makes its way to the sunny state of Florida, and if you didn't get enough hockey, a bunch of farm clubs hitting the ice in the AHL. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, more Canadians got behind the wheel of a car during the pandemic, and now sky-high inflation could open the door to a public transportation revival.
City News Time, 6:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the one. Good evening, Colette Desjardins.
Good evening, Mike, and this report is brought to you by Hakim Optical. If you're traveling northbound on the Don Valley Parkway at Bloor, we've got the right lane blocked with a crash emergency cruiser on the scene, the backup from Gerrard as a result. And then it's slow approaching Eglinton up to York Mills. Northbound on the 400 at Highway 407, we had a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane. Checking the eastbound 401, busy Keel in the collectors, and then Bayview to Leslie in the collectors. If you're on the westbound 409, we mentioned that approaching the 427, problems had cleared. Westbound on the 401, just busy through Kennedy now in the collectors. If you're southbound on the 400, busy south of Shepherd down to the eastbound 401 ramp. Southbound on the 404 Don Valley Parkway, approaching Shepherd in the collectors, we've got delays to the 401 ramps. And then south of Shepherd in the express down to south of Lawrence. Eastbound on the Gardner, still a busy one from the Hubbard Bridge to approaching the Jarvis ramp. It's Hakim Optical's warehouse clearance sale for a limited time. Every Hakim designer frame in the store is free with your lens purchase. Hakim Optical, always saving you money on fashionable eyewear. Your next report is at 6:41. With the forecast, here's Alistair Alders.
The temperature rises to 0 overnight tonight. We'll have mainly cloudy skies, and there will be a chance of flurries this evening, and mainly cloudy on Sunday, and a disturbance will be moving in with some rain showers that could mix with a few wet flurries. 4 degrees the high on our Sunday. Temperatures tonight rising to 0.
In the city right now, a partly cloudy sky. It's -4, feeling like -12 at Pearson Airport. Similar conditions. City News Time, 6:33.
Bring your autographed gear to Eden Center or Ripley's Aquarium next February. There's a good chance that a hockey superstar will be hanging around. Toronto will host the 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend.
Our Mike Leach has the details.
The All-Stars are coming to town next year. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman with the announcement prior to this year's event down in Florida. The last time this city hosted a major All-Star Weekend was the NBA All-Star Game in 2016. That was a massive success with one of the best dunk contests ever. The Leafs' Mitch Marner expects this to be next level.
Getting all the best players in the world at the same place at one time. Just seeing how the NBA All-Star Game was, I'm sure the NHL one's going to be even bigger, so the fans are going to love it. It's going to be a fun time.
The 2024 NHL Midseason Showcase will be the first played in Toronto since the year 2000, and only the second time in the NHL's expansion era. Mike Leach, City News.
City News Time is 6:34. Metrolinx temporarily shut down construction at Osgood Hall today to partake in an injunction hearing from the Law Society of Ontario, which hoped to prevent the trees from being cut down. The results from that are expected sometime tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest. The city's James Mackin has more.
Liz Driver, the interim chair of the Build the Ontario Line Differently Community Coalition, tells me that Metrolinx initially attempted to cut them down without respect for the court process.
The irony of it, the court is going to be hearing this injunction at Osgood Hall, I believe, right where they're cutting the trees down.
The reason why Metrolinx has been cutting down these trees is for construction of the Ontario subway line. But Councillor Josh Matlow tells me there is another option to safely build the subway here.
Recede the median in the middle of University Avenue, slightly further north, and then expand the sidewalk so that there can be room for station box on University Avenue itself. That would also leave us with expanded public space.
Metrolinx says in a statement that following the hearing, they look forward to proceeding to getting this critical transit line built. James Mackin, City News.
This is City News 680. Durham police are at the scene of a sudden death investigation near Middle Road and William Fair Drive in Bowmanville. Officers say the call came in around 2:15 this afternoon, and you can expect a police presence in the area. There are no further details on the incident or how the two people found at the scene died, but you can stay tuned to City News 680 for the latest on the developing story.
Toronto police have arrested a 56-year-old man, in what they're saying is a historical child sexual assault and child sexual abuse material investigation. John Moyer is alleged to have sexually assaulted a boy in Toronto between 2011 and 2013. And officers say further investigation has revealed that he's had contact with children dating back to 2004. He's facing multiple charges, including 8 counts of sexual interference and possession of child pornography. Investigators say there could be unreported crimes and are asking anyone with information to reach out to police.
This is City News. Marit Stiles has been confirmed as the new leader of the Ontario NDP by majority vote. During an event at Metro Toronto Convention Centre, Stiles vowed to beat out Premier Doug Ford's progressive conservative government.
Today, we start the countdown to the end of Doug Ford's disastrous government and the beginning of a bright new future for Ontario.
Stiles, who has been a New Democrat member of provincial parliament since 2018, was the only person to run for the leadership. She represents the Davenport riding, served for years as the party's education critic, and has previously been a school board trustee and president of the federal NDP.
You're listening to All News Radio, City News 680 at 6:37. The U.S. government has shot down a Chinese surveillance balloon off the coast of the Carolinas and is working to analyze any debris that can be collected.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says U.S. military aircraft brought down the Chinese balloon over the Atlantic once the airspace was cleared, adding it was too risky to shoot it down over land. President Biden had authorized the operation Wednesday. Ships were deployed, hoping to scoop up as much debris as possible before it sank into the ocean. China claimed the balloon was for weather research, something the Pentagon has refuted. Former CIA analyst Gail Helt says it looks to her like a fishing expedition by China.
Better and more broad coverage than their spy satellites can. And they can also test how the United States is going to react.
The controversy prompted the U.S. to cancel a weekend trip to Beijing by the Secretary of State. I'm Jackie Quinn.
This is City News 680 at 6:38. Frigid temperatures continued today, although Environment Canada has dropped its cold weather alert for the GTA and the rest of southern Ontario. The City News guaranteed high is -4, but it's feeling near -12 with the wind chill right now. Our weather specialist Alistair Alder says temperatures are going to change through the weekend.
Temperatures are on the rise. We'll be above freezing by this time tomorrow. Actually see some rain showers mixing back into the forecast, and temperatures will remain above normal as we go through early next week. The high on Tuesday right now looking set to be near 6 degrees.
Tomorrow, we can expect a mix of rain and snow as temperatures reach above the freezing mark. Light snow is expected this evening.
Today marks the launch of the 2023 5K Swab Challenge, an event to encourage more black stem cell donors. Our Marie Gomez joins us with the reason for this initiative.
The Canadian nonprofit Donor Drive for Dorothy says only 2% of black adults make up the stem cell registry. That's compared to roughly 66% who are Caucasian. This leading to a call for more black stem cell donors as patients are more likely to find a match with someone from the same ethnic background. With the organization's 5K Swab Challenge, the goal is to register 5,000 black donors by the end of the year. It's gearing its focus on men and women aged 17 to 35. Eligibility requirements for stem cell donations can be found at blood.ca. Marie Gomez, City News.
Coming up next, we'll have your gas price update.
City News time 6:39.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
This is City News 680 everywhere. We just have to buy a home this year. Prices are going down, but mortgage rates are way up.
Rates are up, but the lowest 5-year fixed rate is Butler Mortgage, 4.49%.
Whoa, what? Our bank is 5.29% for 5-year fixed. What's the catch?
No catch. Butler Mortgage has been offering the lowest mortgage rates for 20 years. And because rates are way up, you have to shop carefully.
License 12118, high ratio fixed rate APR of 4.50%. Now the City News gas price update. Empro predicts the price will drop 5 cents at midnight to $1.40.9 a liter at most GTA stations. In 60 seconds, we'll have traffic and weather together on the ones. City News time is 6:40.
Are you looking for a trusted and experienced online high school where you can earn credits or upgrade your marks? Learn with Ontario Virtual School, Ontario's leading online provider with a 5-star Google rating. OVS has over 140 interactive grade 7 to 12 courses to choose from, including STEM, French immersion, and more. Sign up today, create your own timetable, and get access to their supportive teachers and counselors. See why over 25,000 students have chosen to learn with OVS. Visit OntarioVirtualSchool.ca.
Whether you're driving a car, truck, boat, or a snowmobile, please plan ahead and drive sober. No matter what or where you're driving, operating a motor vehicle while impaired by alcohol or drugs is both dangerous and illegal. Whether you're going to the beach for a fun day in the sun or going ice fishing with your friends, let's all work to help keep our roads, trails, and waterways safe and free from impaired driving. Thank you from the beer store and Arrive Alive Drive Sober.
City News time 6:41. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here is Colette Desjardins.
Thanks, and this report is brought to you by Northwood Mortgage. Northbound on the John Bullock Parkway at Bloor, we have the right lane blocked out because of a crash. Emergency crews on the scene. The backup right now, it is solid from Queen. Once you get past that, it's busy from Eglinton up to York Mills. Southbound on the 400, that was busy south of Shepherd down to the eastbound 401 ramp. Southbound on the 404 at DVP, we're seeing delays approaching Shepherd and the collectors down to the 401 ramps, and then south of Shepherd in the express down to south of Lawrence. If you're heading northbound on the 400, we had problems on Highway 407. The right lane was blocked by a stalled vehicle, but that has cleared. If you're on the westbound 401, it is busy through Kennedy and the collectors, and noticing it's very, very slow approaching Kid Lane to Dixon. So not sure if some lanes are blocked. You can always update us, star 680. If you're on the westbound 409, it's moving well now from the 401 all the way to the 427. Eastbound on the 401, got some volume east of the 400, mainly in the collectors. It's busy through Kiel in the collectors, Bayview to Leslie in the collectors as well. And if you're traveling into the city right now on the eastbound Gardner, we're just seeing delays right now from Parkside to approaching the Jarvis ramp. Consolidate your debts into one easy monthly payment thanks to Northwood Mortgage. They'll work hard to find a custom solution that works for you. Visit northwoodmortgage.com, license number 10349. Your next report is at 6:51, but with the forecast right now, the extended forecast, here's Alistair Alders.
Mainly cloudy this evening, and we will have a chance of flurries. Temperatures continue to rise and will rise to the freezing mark overnight tonight, and then 4 degrees the high on Sunday. It will be a mainly cloudy day overall, and do watch out for some rain showers that could mix with some flurries developing as we go through the afternoon into the evening. Looking pretty nice. Back to work on Monday with mainly sunny skies and a high of 1 degree. Normally this time of year we should be near -2. Temperatures tonight rising up to 0 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, -4. Feels like -13. Partly cloudy. Still to come on City News 680. We'll take a look at your top headlines and sports. City News time at 6:44.
The bonus redemption event is back at Shoppers Drug Mart. So here's a quick PC Optimum hack from a member that could help you save big.
1 second, Galen. Just doing some math. I redeem only 200,000 points and get $300 off electronics during the event. That's an extra $100 in value.
Now that adds up.
The Shoppers Drug Mart bonus redemption event runs February 3rd to 8th, exclusive to Shoppers Drug Mart. PC Optimum points can be redeemed in-store and online. Restrictions apply. Details in store.
Now streaming on City TV Plus, Colin from Accounts, a brand new comedy of the classic story of boy meets girl, or the dog.
Oh my God. I hit a dog. Oh my God.
Two singlish, complex humans navigate love and life.
I can't take the dog. Yes.
Well, it's complicated.
We've got this. We don't, but your optimism is adorable.
Colin from Accounts, now streaming on City TV Plus, available with Prime Video channels.
Toronto's news. Now, this is City News 680. Everywhere.
It's -4 in downtown Toronto. Feels like -13. Partly cloudy. Good evening. I'm Mike Davey. Here are the top stories this hour. NHL All-Star Weekend will be headed to Toronto in 2024. The announcement was made today by Commissioner Gary Bettman. We're waiting for a verdict to determine the future of historical trees on Osgood Hall. Metrolinx plans to knock them down to make room for the Ontario line. And in Bowmanville, the death of 2 people has prompted a sudden death investigation. City News time at 6:45. Which means it's time for sports. From Sports at 590 The Fan. Good evening, Brandon DuPont.
Good evening, Mr. Davey. After seeing all of your favorite current NHLers show their skills yesterday, today they went one-on-one in some good old classic 3-on-3 hockey representing their respective divisions. In the semis, the Central Division beat the Pacific, and in the other matchup, the Atlantic came from behind to beat the Metropolitan, setting up a final between the Atlantic, including Leafs Mitch Marner, against the Central. In the final, Red Wings' Dylan Larkin was arguably the brightest star, scoring a hat-trick, and notable mention to Marner, who picked up 3 assists, helping the Atlantic win 7-5. With the victory, the Atlantic Division now skates away with a split pot of $1 million. And speaking of the All-Star Game, it will be coming back to the home and native land once again, as Toronto will host the 2024 edition. This announcement was made earlier in the day from League Commissioner Gary Bettman. And if that didn't suppress your appetite for hockey, there's some Canadian teams in action in the AHL, that is. The Toronto Marlies lost to the Montreal affiliate, the Laval Rocket, at Coca-Cola Coliseum right here in the city, 7-3. The Abbotsford Canucks winning 3-2 over the San Jose Barracuda at the end of the second, and soon to come, the Manitoba Moose will take on the Milwaukee Admirals in the state of Wisconsin. And from the ice to the tennis court at the 17th Thailand Open, Mississauga, Ontario native Bianca Andreescu had to retire in the second set of her match against Ukraine's Lesia Surenko due to a shoulder injury. She lost the first set and was trailing in the second before retiring. Sports at 15 and 45 minutes every hour. Right time at Sports.ca.
Is Is this the sound of you shoveling your driveway? Or are you on a beach in the Caribbean? Are you topping up your windshield washer fluid? Or is the bartender topping up your sangria? And is that the call of a bird in Mexico? Or is it one of your kids asking for help finding their mittens? You get to decide. Because with Air Canada and Air Canada Vacations, you can seize the sun in over 50 sunny destinations. See the hottest flight and vacation package offers at aircanada.com/sun.
This winter, there has been an increase in canceled appointments to donate blood and plasma. Cold and flu season paired with winter weather can push inventories to concerning levels. But patient need doesn't take a snow day. When you give blood and plasma through Canadian Blood Services, you don't just help someone. You help someone be there for their family. You don't just make a difference, you make all the difference. Book now at blood.ca.
City News Time 6:48. Well, if you thought it was cold in Toronto over the last couple of days, Arctic air hit the U.S. Northeast, bringing dangerous sub-zero temperatures and a wind chill reading at one mountain of minus 70 degrees Celsius.
Atop New Hampshire's Mount Washington, it got down to minus 47 degrees Friday night with a record-breaking wind chill of minus 108. But the National Weather Service says while temperatures across the Northeast have been record-breaking and in the single digits,
fortunately, the cold is pretty short-lived.
Meteorologist Jason Weiss.
We will start to warm up again by Sunday across the east and really a lot of the country.
Meanwhile, at Mass General Hospital's emergency room, Dr. Ali Raja says they're seeing frostbite and hypothermia patients.
There's a couple that were severe enough to get admitted to the hospital.
Authorities say the high winds were to blame when a tree limb hit a car, killing an infant in Southwick. I'm Julie Walker.
Newly obtained documents reveal warnings made by a first-grade teacher who was shot by a 6-year-old boy at a Newport News, Virginia elementary school were largely ignored.
Behavioral issues were identified in the months before a 6-year-old boy at Ridgeneck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia, intentionally shot his teacher, 25-year-old Abby Zwerner. WVEC, the ABC News TV affiliate in Norfolk, obtaining a November email thread between the teacher and school administrators. After several behavioral issues, Zwerner writing she didn't feel comfortable returning the boy to class. After a school conference with the boy's dad, a plan put in place to have a parent in class with the boy while at school. The family saying the week of the shooting was the first that they were not in class with him, an absence they say they'll regret for the rest of their lives. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Traffic and weather coming up next. City News Time 6:50.
Please be advised, if you find winter driving distressing, the following is a real audio clip of a Subaru driving on an unplowed mountain pass in the Yukon in minus 23-degree conditions. Just listen to Subaru standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive go work on all of that ice and snow. And that sound is our confident driver whistling Beethoven's Fifth, I believe. Visit your local Subaru dealer and really own winter with uncommon winter capability.
Hey, it's Marcus from Connect. The economy changed. Mortgage rates are sky high. Property values are falling. You have questions. Your bank does not have the answers. What will your rate be when your mortgage matures? Can you borrow more money today without losing your fixed rate? Is there a way to reduce the monthly payments on your variable rate mortgage? The answers you need, the money you need when it matters most. Visit connect.ca. That's CANNECT.ca. Brokerage number 13079.
City News Time at 6:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here is Colette Desjardins.
Thanks, and this report is brought to you by Mr. Lou. If you're traveling northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, it looks as though problems up Bloor have cleared. The backup still from Queen, and then you'll find it slow at Eglinton up to York Mills. Southbound on the 404 Don Valley Parkway, that was heavy approaching Shepherd and the Collectors down to the 401 ramps, and then south of Shepherd and the Express down to south of Lawrence. If you're headed right now on the westbound Gardner, northbound Kiwi, in pretty good shape right now. Eastbound Gardner, we've got delays approaching Parkside to the Jarvis ramp. And then approaching the Don Valley Parkway, there's a crash in the left lane. Emergency crews are on the scene. Taking a look look right now at the northbound Don Valley Parkway. I mentioned that things at Blue had cleared. If you're on the westbound 401, we've got problems at Kennedy in the collectors. Actually, it's volume in the collectors at Kennedy. But then approaching Dixon, we've got the two center lanes blocked with a crash. The backup, of course, it's solid from approaching Islington, both express and collectors. If you're on the eastbound 401, we just had a minor delay east of the 400 in the collectors, just volume, and it's easy now from Bayview to Leslie in the collectors. Drive into your locally owned and operated Mr. Lube for no appointment tire services, servicing all makes and models. Mr. Lube open every day. No appointment is needed. Your next report is at 7:01 with the forecast. Here's Alistair Alders.
Well, instead of falling, our temperatures will be on the rise tonight. We'll be near zero overnight. We'll have mainly cloudy skies and watch out for a chance of flurries. And then tomorrow, mainly cloudy, and watch for some late afternoon to evening rain showers that could mix with a few wet flurries. Overall, not a huge concern, but just something to keep in mind. 4 degrees the high Sunday. 1 on Monday with mainly sunny skies, and some rain returns to the forecast on Tuesday with a high of 6 degrees. So overall, this above seasonal trend will be continuing early next week. Temperatures tonight rising up to the freezing mark.
Right now in downtown Toronto, -4. Feels like -13, partly cloudy. Coming up at 7 o'clock. We are awaiting the verdict to determine the future of historical trees at Osgoode Hall. And NHL All-Star Weekend is coming to town next year. City News Time, 6:53.
Now is the time to stream more Maple Leafs down the stretch drive.
The center's in front. Matthews scores.
Get thousands of out-of-market NHL games, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and more with a new Sportsnet Now Premium 6-month pass.
Here's Margarita. This winner scores. It's a beauty.
And with Blue Jays baseball in sight, now is the time to score the best value deal available. Subscribe today at snnow.ca. Available for a limited time only. Traffic and weather together on the ones.
This is City News 680.
Everywhere.
City News Time, 6:54. A new documentary about Much Music will reportedly debut at South by Southwest Film Festival this spring.
Much Music. Canada's first all-music network.
Canadian writer, actor, and TV host Erica M. says she has been quietly working as a consulting producer on the film. An Instagram post from M says the documentary is called 299 Queen Street West, the address of the building where the channel is housed, and will have its world premiere at the festival in March. The film festival's website says the doc is 118 minutes long and tells the story of the Canadian TV channel from the perspective of the VJs. The festival runs from March 10th to 18th in Austin, Texas. Coming up next, we will have your business reports. City News Time, 6:55.
Whether you're a startup or fully established, the world won't abide standing still. Your phone service must be adaptable to the needs of your business and your workforce. Unite Communications provides a phone service that's flexible to work wherever your staff works on any device. Service without long-term contracts or dealing with faceless telecom companies. Contact Unite today to get your first 2 months free. At Unite, our business is connecting yours. Heralded by the Globe and Mail as one of Canada's fastest growing companies. Visit unitetoday.ca. Want to take your business to the next level? Advertise with Rogers Sports and Media and connect with millions of potential new customers. By integrating our radio and podcast offerings into your campaign, you'll reach premium targeting audiences wherever they are, however they listen. From up-to-the-minute news and sports to engaging podcasts and entertainment. Our team will partner with you every step of the way, from conception to execution, to ensure you reach your marketing goals. Find out more at rogersportsandmedia.com.
City News Time, 6:56. You know what that means? It's time for the Weekend Business Report.
I'm Ari Rabinovich. More and more Canadians have been looking to cut the costs of their commutes. A survey conducted in mid-January on behalf of Rates.ca of over 1,500 Canadians asked how they have been changing their driving habits, especially for their work commutes. John Schmuel is managing editor at Rates.ca.
11% of Canadians are saying that they've actually changed their mode of transportation because of high inflation. 18% of Canadians said that specifically they are looking at alternate ways to get to work. You know, some of these are also very similar. You know, they're either getting out of their car and taking public transit, or they're walking or cycling. 48% of Canadians, unrelated to their work commute, are looking to cut down on their transportation costs.
This comes after more Canadians got behind the wheel during the pandemic.
People, after COVID-19 broke out, were more hesitant to get into public transit, right? They were worried about catching the virus. Everyone rushed to buy a car in 2020, 2021, right? And that put extreme pressure on the used car market. It put pressure on the new car market at a time when supply had gone down due to, you know, supply chain disruptions. 3 out of every 4 Canadians is getting in a car to get to work.
So it's never been a better time for a public transportation revival.
You think about kind of what we're trying to do in terms of climate change goals and, you know, reducing the use of vehicles and emissions. One of the things that could come out of this inflationary environment is a reversal of more people getting their cars and driving to work and potentially getting back into public transit, right? I would say from a government perspective, this is an opportunity to really hammer home the value of public transit, and I'd be very surprised and disappointed even if they didn't take advantage of that.
John Schmuel is at rates.ca.